Well done. So good morning, PowerPoint. To depress everyone this morning, but I can't promise anything. So Mike is going to come up afterwards and boost everyone's confidence and teach you how to feel good about yourself. So yes, I've been in the insurance industry for about 19 years now. First started in Bristol in the UK, which is about 200 miles west of London, for a small insurance brokerage in 2000. I didn't know anything about insurance. I didn't understand it. So they basically brought me in. I lied a little bit to get the job, and they taught me everything. And by the time I left that company, I was the assistant manager. Moved to Dubai in 2009 and built up a business over there with international clients doing insurance and financial advice. Had about 28 million under management and about $75 million worth of life insurance that I looked after over there. And then we moved here in 2017 because my wife didn't like Dubai anymore. And then in June, I joined you all here with BNI. So that pretty much brings me up to date. But thank you. You got most of it in there. It's between assurance and insurance. Yeah? No? Okay, so assurance protects against something that will happen, and insurance protects against something that might happen. So you have a whole of life insurance, it covers you for the whole of your life. It's an assurance product, and it will pay out when you die. Car insurance, you may not use it, so that's why it's an insurance product. An old boss said to me once when we were doing an insurance training, if you had an ATM machine in your house that paid out $10,000 a month, every single month for the rest of your life, would you insure it? Would you protect it against damage, theft, breakage, whatever it might be? Of course you would. It's an ATM machine, it just pumps out money to you. That's kind of what life insurance is. Protecting yourself. You're the money in your household maybe. So you're protecting yourself and your family against you not being there, being able to protect them going forward. 84% of Americans agree most people need insurance, but only 59% of them have it. 59%, that's almost half the people in this country do not have life insurance. Life insurance is simple. You have it, you die, it pays out, period. But what I think, and hopefully the insurance guys in the room will agree with me, what I think is just as important is living benefits. So if you die and you're not here to see the damage you cause, so be it, you're gone. Your family has to struggle and deal with it and move on. But if you don't die, if you get diagnosed with something, you can't work, you can't pay your bills, you can't keep the roof over your head, you're sitting there in your house watching your family struggle, watching your kids maybe not being able to eat. How would you like that? Not great, right? So living benefits are benefits that pay out when you're still alive. Terminal cover will give you a payout if you are given less than 24 months to live. You've got chronic cover if you're unable to perform 2 of your daily tasks, which is sort of getting dressed, going to the bathroom, eating, showering, that kind of thing. And then critical illness, which is pretty self-explanatory. So if you look at this wonderful little brochure in front of you, go to page 10, and it will show you a list, hopefully, a list of all the critical illnesses that are covered under the insurance. So whilst you're looking at that, can I get a show of hands if anybody in this room knows someone or has been affected by any of these illnesses, family members, loved ones, cousins, this, that, and the other? The majority of people, right, know someone that maybe have been diagnosed with cancer. By 2030, they believe that 23.6 million people a year are going to be diagnosed with cancer. 10% of those people are going to be here in the US. So if you don't have living benefits on your insurance policy, maybe think about having it added. Americans are 5 times more likely to suffer a critical illness before retirement than actually dying, which is a crazy statistic. So how do you work out how much life insurance you actually need? I think in a perfect world, you work out all of your expenses for the rest of your life and cover it. So your mortgage payments, your kids' education all the way to college, your holidays, your everything. it could be $5 million or $10 million, something like that. That can be quite expensive, so not everybody can afford that kind of protection. So what you can also do is look at how much you can afford on a monthly basis and work out how much cover you can get for that price. What I tend to say is 3 times or 5 times your annual salary is a good place to start with how much protection you need, and then you can work on that and build up the benefits from there. Most people will have life insurance at the minute. That's great, but it may not include this living benefits. Not all insurance policies include living benefits protection. Recently I had a client who, 46 years old, was paying $200 a month for $750,000 worth of life insurance without living benefits. He also had $175,000 of accidental death cover as well for $200 a month. We replaced the 2 policies for $1 million worth of life insurance, and we saved him $60 a month on that. So give him more cover, more benefits, less money. And overall, over the course of the plan, I think it was about a $15,000 saving. So a good referral for me is literally anybody that's going to die, which I think is everybody. But to kind of nail it down a little bit, new homeowners. So Matt and Bill, new homeowners. When you're buying a property, it's probably the biggest purchase of people's lives. Why not protect it? If the worst happens after 6 months of them being in this house, they die, that family may not be able to afford to stay living there, and they have to move. And that's another stressful thing to add on top of your partner dying. So mortgage protection is something that's quite big. Anybody that's got young children is a great referral, because if the parents are no longer there to look after the kids, what are you going to do? I sadly recently had a friend of mine who lost his brother, who had 3 kids, no insurance in place. He's now having to pay for 2 kids to go to college and another kid in schooling. He's trying to put them in a house somewhere in the UK where he doesn't live anymore, but he's having to pay for all of that because he's the next in line for the family. So having some insurance if you've got kids is vital, if you ask me. Divorced families. If you've got father and mum don't get along and the dad's paying the mum benefits for the kid, I don't know what you call it here, but paying child support, yeah, so paying child support, why not make sure he's insured? If he suddenly pops it and isn't around anymore and you're expecting $1,000 a month from him, what are you going to do? So those 3 types of people would be amazing referrals for me. How much have I got on time? 2 minutes, sweet. Finally, I'd love to be introduced to anybody British. Not just because I like to make friends with British people. What I do as well is help British people with their finances in the UK. So not something that Mike would look after, but something different. So anybody English, anybody that's worked in the UK, get their telephone number, just say, hey, I know a Brit, he's a great guy, I'd love to introduce you. And then I'll ring him, tell him what I do, and make a new friend. And that's me. Thank you. Thank you very much.